What's up, podcast? Before we start today's episode, I just want to make sure that you guys are following and subscribing all of our content at svaofamerica.com/AssistanceHQ. There you can find all of the latest and greatest content, podcasts, articles, and so much more. The link's going to be in the description, so make sure you don't ever miss a piece of content. It's a whole lot of assistance going on. And now, a moment from our sponsor. What's going on, podcast? Welcome back to the Ramblings. You're listening to episode 2 of a 2-part special. I wouldn't even necessarily call it a special, just a big, thoughtful episode, because I really wanted to dive deeper into not only the meaning, but everything behind what I was going to say. Because yesterday we left off with talking about how I no longer have sympathy for people that say things and then don't do on those things. People that are like, oh, on the weekend, they're like, oh, I'm going to go start a business. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do all these things that are going to positively affect my life. And then come Monday, they do absolutely none of these things, nor take any steps to further these goals. And that's what really grinds my gears. So shout out to Family Guy for this episode, part 2. What really grinds my gears? Excuse me. So what really grinds my gears are entrepreneurs, business people, or people in general. Anybody that has a goal or is upping themselves on a goal and is trying to big talk themselves for a goal, saying all this stuff they're going to do, and then when it comes time to do it, they find any and every excuse or reason to just not do it. That is what really grinds my gears. Because there's absolutely no reason for you to talk about it and not be about it. There's absolutely no reason for you to complain about the situation of your life, whether you feel like you're too big, whether you feel like you don't have enough money, whether you feel like you don't have a healthy enough relationship. Yet when the time comes to change that, when the time comes to then put the work or the effort in to no longer be in that situation, you guys fold on yourselves. And I can't have that. If you fold on yourself, you're going to fold on me. And I can't have someone like that in my personal circle or my personal team. I can see you, we can be cordial, I can know you, but as far as even being an acquaintance or a friend or someone in my inner circle, never. Not a chance. Because I'm trying to make progress. And when you outgrow somebody, that could be a flaw for me, honestly, because I'm not good with that. But hey, who knows if it could change. But as you outgrow people feel like they're entitled to staying in your space because you've been in my space before. No, you were in my space because we were on a similar path, on the same level. If you were having a friend and you were both working towards going to the NBA, right? You and your friend both play basketball and you're both working towards the NBA. And then one friend decided to say, you know what? I'm not going to work towards the NBA. They're not working towards anything else, because when you're working towards the NBA, it's not about going to the NBA. It's about having a goal and then putting things in place for that goal. So I'll give you the two different quick scenarios. If you had two friends that were high school partners and they were growing up together and decided, we're going to play basketball together. And then one decided, you know what, I'm not going to play basketball. I don't want to go to the NBA. I want to be an astronaut or I want to be a lawyer. They still have larger than them goals, something that is going to take a path and time to work for. So therefore they can level on a similar playing field, because it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's about achieving your goals. However, if you're not setting and achieving your own goals, then I can't associate with that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Sorry, but not sorry. Because I no longer have the sympathy for the people that are complaining. Like you're saying, hey, I don't have enough money to make rent this week and I'm stressing about it. Well, you knew rent was due all month. What did you do to make sure you would make rent? You are trying to lose weight. What steps are you taking to lose weight? You're trying to get to the NBA or be a professional sports player. What steps are you taking to achieve those goals? So it's really about the work ethic to whatever goal you're trying to succeed. That's where I take the respected. Where no, I don't care what your goal is, because it's not about the money. It's about achieving something or having goals or doing something that you like. It doesn't even have to be something crazy. If you said, you know what, I'm not big on money or anything. I really would like to focus on raising a family and having that be my legacy. I want amazing kids. I want to have an amazing wife and really be known as the family guy. Then work towards that. Let that be your goal. Don't be out here saying, well, I want to raise a family and do all of this stuff, and then you're cheating. So you have to let your actions match up with what you're saying or what you're trying to do in your goals. Because if your actions don't match up, you're essentially folding on yourself. Because if you say, I'm going to lose weight, and your goal is to lose weight, and then you say, hey, Monday comes in, for whatever reason you're not working out, and Tuesday comes, and Wednesday and Thursday, and the whole week goes by, and you have yet to make any progress. If I were to ask you for a favor, if I ask you to hold water for me, I don't trust that you can do it because you fold on yourself. It's a simple quality. Like, if you're going to speak about it, be about it. And that's really the weight of it, because nobody is responsible for improving your life other than you. Nobody can, like we said, make you lose weight, make you get more money, make you have better relationships, make you drink more water, give you better acne. Nobody can do those things except for you. It is your job to focus on your health, your stability, your financial. You guys have to get over this notion that you're entitled because you did a little bit of work. It takes more than a little bit of work to be successful. It takes a little bit more than work to be even moderately successful. If your goal was to be a lawyer, and that seems to be we're not even going to call it a common thing, because a traditional thing, a traditional lawyer taking the common path of going through 4 years of college and then law school and all of this. That's not easy. That's not easy. Yet everyone sees that as like, oh, you can do that. Oh, you can do that. Let's see. Owning a business is really seen as something like, oh, if you want to own a business, you can do it. Just put in the work. Okay, well, you're going to have to put in the same work, if not more work, than that law student. What work did that law student put in? Well, not even a student, the lawyer. If you're going to compare a lawyer and a business owner, look at the work that was put in. Why do people put the pressure on immediate results of the entrepreneur or business owner? It takes a lawyer 4 years of college and then law school and then more school. So at minimum 4 years to graduate, you need at least 4 years plus, let's just say, a year or 2 years for the bar. So you need like 6 years minimum to be a lawyer. To be qualified to be a lawyer. I'm sorry, because you're not a lawyer until you're hired. You're 6 years before you're qualified to be a lawyer. Most businesses fail within the first 5. So how about this? Don't qualify yourself as doing business or anything really until you have hit 5 years, because most businesses fail within 5 years. I don't care if your business made $1 million. If you're going bankrupt in 5 years, then you don't have that $1 million anymore, I bet. If you made $1 million in year 2 of your business, and by year 5 your business has been out of business, that $1 million, I'm sure, is gone. You are back to square one, average. You can do it all over again. So 5 years. Give yourself 5-year minimum to even see progress or breaking ground. Because here's the thing. Let's put it like this. I would rather see you guys be upset that your business is taking forever to launch, and you make it through your 5-year period. If you are able to make and slowly grow your business through a 5-year period, guess what? That is much better than a business that has scaled so fast and crashed even faster. Simple as that. It is better to have slowly progressed than to have climaxed so early that your drop is faster than your rise. It's not necessarily a common sense thing, but it's something I would like for you guys to at least understand, because this is the kind of stuff that almost gets my blood boiling. You're entitled to nothing. Work for it. You have 5 years. Go. Yeah, that's what I should name this episode. You have 5 years. Go. Because the sooner you start your 5, 10, 15-year plan, the sooner you're going to get it done. Because when you think about it, everybody that's 35 years old says this is not that old. You probably are cool with someone who's 30 years old, 31, 32 years old, and you're 20 something, not realizing that if you start it now, by the time you got to your friend's age, which is still young enough, because clearly it's young enough for you guys to be hanging out and doing all these things with, then you would be in a much better position, because you're by not doing anything, you're perpetuating your situation further. So if you are consistently complaining about, rent being due, when you don't take action, because I was almost where I was, when you don't take action on the fact that that rent has to be due every month at the same time, every single month in perpetuity until you either move out or get a new place, why don't you work the overtime, make a couple extra dollars, save some more money, cut down on the expenses, don't go shopping as much? There are a lot of things you can do that don't necessarily require making more money. You may have to scale back your lifestyle, but nobody wants to listen to that. Nobody wants to listen to, oh, you may have to downgrade your car. You may have to downgrade your house. You may have to scale back. No one wants to hear that you may have to scale back. However, here's the truth. You may have to scale back because you're not entitled to it. You have to earn it. So here's the thing. If you would prefer to live check to check with the possibility of being evicted at any point because you can't pay your bills because they're so freaking high, then by all means, let that be you. However, I can't bring myself to be around that kind of negative energy, because that's negative energy, especially as someone who's an entrepreneur and a business owner and big on doing bookkeeping and accounting, because I major in accounting in college. Like, get it together. These are things that are due rent is due every single month. Why is that not your number one priority? Because here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you pay your light bill if you don't got the rents. It doesn't matter what bill you pay if the rent's not paid. So let's do this. Focus on your rent. Then you probably should focus on your electricity, because the next important thing is probably going to be internet. But you can't have internet without electricity. So what makes the next most important thing? Internet. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. The next, electricity. I'm sorry. But internet is almost that important because it allows you to do so many different things. You ever been job hunting without the internet? Try that. So you're not entitled to whatever it is that you have because you're able to pay for it. And here's the thing. If you're saying you're able to pay for it, and when the time comes to pay for it again the next month, and you're like, dang, you couldn't afford it, period. If you say, dang, if you have those second thoughts about the purchase that you made because it's an extra bill this month and you almost forgot about it because it's new, then you couldn't afford it to begin with. You were stretching more than what you could. Use this as a rule of thumb. At minimum, you should be saving around 50-50. Saving half, spending half at minimum. And that's just because it will cover you for however long you are in position. So if you have 5 years of saving half, spending half, you have 5 years of being able to live until you can get another job if you on your savings. So it's really about building up the wealth aspect, not how much money you make. It's what you do with what you make. What you do with what you make, not how much you make. Because if you only live on 30% of your income at any level, you will always have enough money, period. Because if you only live on 30% of your income, if you were to save the other 50, now you could even increase your living and then live way better for a small amount of period of time. It's about how long can you last if you were to lose your source of income right now. If you lost your job, then what? Now that's how you have to think. If you lose your job, then what? If you got kicked out of your business because you grew it so big and now you're on the stocks, or you have a shareholders board and they kick you off the board, what do you do now? Because you're not going to be making that money unless you own vested interest in the company still. So what are you going to be doing towards these goals? So whatever goals you guys have, what are you doing to get to them? It's really that simple, because you're not entitled to have it. It's not like it's just going to be handed to you. Things coming in all the time. So laziness is a huge trait, and it's toxic, and I can't have that. I don't like that toxic. Like, there are sometimes you can settle with certain things, like, oh, I don't like this about these. Like, laziness is one of those things that even in myself, I'm trying to get out. So it's not like I'm pointing the finger at people and saying, oh, all of like X, Y, Z. No, I'm also saying I'm kicking that laziness out of me. That's why I get up at 5:45. So I kick out that laziness. That's why whenever I feel like I'm getting distracted and spending too much unproductive time on social media, I kick it like, yo, let's get back in the gear. We got to get back and start and change how we're doing things. And you have to really focus on your personal work ethic and your mindset, because your mindset is really where it is. People give up too easily. People give up after the first 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, 2, 3 years. Most businesses fail within the first 5 years. So if you giving up before you even had a chance to fail, think of it like that. Most businesses fail within the first 5 years. So if you don't give yourself a minimum of 5 years, you gave up before you even had an opportunity to fail. And let me tell you this, nobody's perfect. So if you haven't failed, you haven't tried. That's almost that on that. If you have not failed, then you have not tried, because nobody is perfect, and perfect is 100%. So that means if you haven't at least heard a no or had a failure, then you haven't tried hard enough, at least at all, or gone on long enough. You haven't been going hard enough, long enough. Period. If you have not failed, then you have not been going hard enough, long enough. And here's the thing, if you give up before you have given 5 years, then you failed. Then you failed right there. Because guess what? If you started a business and then you feel like it didn't take off enough, your business failed. So if you decide to say, before your 5 years is up, I'm done with this, you are part of the statistic of failures now. So I need people with that effort. That's fine. Give yourself the 5 years, fail, cool. Then say it didn't work out. But give yourself enough time to fail. Because here's the thing, it can take you 4 months. I'm sorry, it could take you 4 years, 10 months, and 12 days. And then 2 weeks after that, all of a sudden someone notices you and wants to give you $10,000 for 3% of your company. Now all of a sudden those 4 years, 10 months, and 12 days that you waited, because you're waiting for your entire 5-year period, is worth it. If you just waited, if you just waited, or that could be the title of this podcast. Oh, if you just waited, or oh, if you just changed your mindset, you would be better off. Like, I'm not saying that you need to think like me, but what I am saying is that you need to understand where the effort is, what the effort is, how much effort to give, and why you should not give up. Because you have to be consistent for as long as you can be consistent. As long as consistent is consistent, you be consistent. Because guess what? It could take you 20 years. Let's be real. A lot of the people listening to the podcast right now, you're not 50 years old. Even if you are 50 years old, let's think of this. If you worked on your business dumb hard into the age of 50, not mind you, retirement 65. If you worked your whole life towards one goal, we're talking business. So whether you were trying to be like Elon Musk, like Steve Jobs, like Bill Gates, whatever you're trying to do, we're talking business though, because I'm talking to my entrepreneurs right now. If you were to go hard for 50 years, actively keeping up, making the effort for whatever age you are. So I don't care if you're 40, from 40 to 50, from 25 to 50, from 20 to 50, from 30 to 50. If you just went hard as you possibly could to the age of 50, I think that by the time you hit 50, you would be able to retire. if you went dumb hard in the proper areas, you would be able to retire by 50. Now, if you start earlier, you might be able to retire early, because if we make 50 the new retirement, but you gotta put that work in. You gotta put that work in. So that's really what I wanted to get off my chest in this episode 2 of the podcast. You have to recognize and the growth. You have to grow within. You have to recognize where you need to grow in you, and that's why I'm upset, because some people don't even recognize that and refuse to recognize that and just don't want to, because they don't want to put the effort in. They see where they need to grow and just don't want to put the effort in, because they'll talk about it like, oh, I need to change my attitude. I need to, lose all this stuff. But yet when it comes down to trying to do it, they won't do it. And that's what grinds my gears. Hey Ramblers, before you go, make sure you're following us on social media at Assistance HQ across the board for all content and exclusives. And for an even more personal touch, subscribe to our weekly newsletter with the link in the description.